Here comes the, here comes the, here comes the. Y'all don't really want it like that. Yeah. Here comes the, no. Here comes the, oh. Here comes the. Y'all don't really want it like that. Yeah.
This podcast is brought to you in association with Recovery, the natural choice for rugby recovery. You're sore, you're low on gas, and life has a habit of getting in the way when it comes to doing all those little extras you need to do to recover properly. Going into game day knowing your body's in the best condition possible is the goal. Your next performance depends on it. Well, Recovery has you covered. Recovery is reinventing rugby recovery. Check out their range of all natural products with prices that range from as little as £7 to be budget friendly for all shoppers. You can find them on Instagram at Recovery or head to recovery.com or simply click the link in the description to take you straight to their website. For an extra bonus, if you use the code DROPGOAL in all capitals, you'll receive a brilliant 10% off discount on all of your purchases. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Drop Goal podcast. On today's episode of the podcast, we have a highly appreciated name from the Wheelchair Rugby League world. He's a man leading his team and showing just how inclusive our sport is. It's the man himself, Stephen Jones. Welcome to the podcast, mate. How are we?
Not too bad at all. Thanks, Steve. How are you?
I'm doing good, mate. I'm very excited to have you on the podcast today. And we'll have a good chat about Wheelchair Rugby League because maybe a few people out there might not have heard about Wheelchair Rugby League, and today hopefully you can enlighten them and give them a bit of your knowledge about the game, mate. So we'll jump straight into it if you're happy to. First of all, let's jump straight into it. Like I said, for anyone listening who may not know your name and what you're involved in, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do for the sport of Wheelchair Rugby League?
As you said, I'm Steve Jones. I'm the current head coach for North Wales Crusaders Wheelchair. Now, this is a mouthful now. Our official title is North Wales Crusaders Wheelchair Rugby League and Disability Sports Association.
Right.
Basically, we're a charity that was set up to help fund our club.
Mm-hmm.
Is North Wales Crusaders Wheelchair Rugby League Club. I'm also one of the trustees for them as well.
Yeah.
And for my sins, I'm also the head coach of the Welsh national team.
Okay.
2019, I was named Wheelchair Rugby League head coach.
Right.
By the RFL, and our club actually took the title of Club of the Year in the same year. So we're doing something right somewhere. Not sure what it is, but we're doing it.
Indeed, mate. You can't get much better than that. Club of the Year, Coach of the Year, mate. You seem like you're having a good time over at the North Wales Crusaders Rugby League team. So first of all, I've taken a look at the recent results. Unfortunately, the games didn't really go the way of the Crusaders. But it's good, obviously, to get playing some rugby. There was a fight back in the Leeds game, I believe, in which the Crusaders did add 20 points onto the score before the hooter, but the game really didn't go to plan, and Leeds won that, as well as new team Leyland. They also won. As a coach now, how will you reflect on these results, and how will you pick out the positives from both games in order to improve for future games?
To be honest, the positives are easy to pick out from all the games for the weekend, from all three of our clubs.
Yeah.
Or teams, rather. And that was purely, we were back in the chair playing. It's been over 400 days since we last had competitive games until the weekend. And Leeds, league champions, Leyland, one of the strongest teams in the country at the moment.
Right.
Even though they're only just recently returned to formal fixtures.
Yeah.
So we knew going into them, we were going to be up for potential hiding.
Yeah.
When you look, we only had 7 players available for the game. It was a long day because of the new format. It's 2 one-hour games in the same day, and we were back to back.
Yeah.
So Leyland, they just come at us relentlessly, and straight from the get-go, we knew we were going to be in trouble with them. And then Leeds, similar thing, but we did start to rally a bit then. We sort of brushed the rust off ourselves and got back to it because one of the issues we've had as well because the return to training has been totally different in Wales, we've only had a couple of training sessions back.
Right.
Now, I'm not making excuses. We knew
No.
it was going to be hard, but when you're talking, for some of them, it was almost like starting again from scratch.
Yeah.
It's been that long since, and I know full well between Super League and the various championship games that went on the weekend, we weren't the only team.
Exactly, mate. Yeah.
Fair play to Leyland and Leeds. They were the better teams on the day, but a lot of positives come from it.
Yeah.
We did manage to, as you said, put 20 points on Leeds at one stage and answered. So, unfortunately, we left it a bit too late to rally ourselves. But it happens.
Yeah, well, you're obviously doing something right, mate, if you can put points on the scoreboard. So I've seen a few videos on YouTube after looking into the game and how the contact side of things work. And they really do give it their all when it comes to the game, which is brilliant. So I've looked up, and apparently this sport used to be known as murder ball. Can you explain a little bit about this and maybe why it had that nickname?
Now, that is the popular misconception everyone's got.
Okay.
We are not murder ball, never have been.
Right.
Murder ball was a version of a sport that was from Canada and America, which is now being sort of brought under the banner of rugby union. So it's now called wheelchair rugby.
Okay.
We are a pure version of rugby league.
Yeah.
Anyone who watches rugby league will recognise it straight away.
Right.
We use a rugby ball. Passes
Yeah.
have to go backwards. Tries are worth 4. Conversions are worth 2. Penalties 2. Drop goals 1. So murder ball, it's a totally different version. They use a round ball, whereas we use a proper rugby ball. We have 6 tackles, but rather than trying to throw somebody on the floor, which is a bit difficult in the chair, even though we got some maniacs who'd like to try that. We go with the tagging system. So pull a tag off your opponent's shoulder. That's tackle 1. Again, you get the 6. And then usually on the 5th, you'll do a kick if you haven't scored. And kicking for us is literally a closed fist, making contact with the ball anywhere from your fist. So it's from there to your elbow, and you kick it straight up.
Right.
We rubber kicks, the bombs, long distance kicks.
Yeah.
Kicking with conversions and penalties, we use a different form of kicking tee. Which is level with the height of your main pushing wheels. So you have different size tees because you've got players with 24, 25, 26-inch wheels. And the other main difference is purely because of the size of the halls we use, or pitches. We're only having 5 players on at any one time. But we still play 2 40-minute halves. 10, 12 substitutions, 2 referees. So you watch our version, you watch rugby league, and straight away it's, whoa, yeah, that is rugby league.
Exactly.
Not what ours is. Whereas with the likes of murder ball, it's a round ball, it's chucked in all directions.
Right.
That's more like a contact basketball. That's not taking nothing away from that sport though either.
Yeah, definitely, mate. So obviously, like you said, it's a common misconception, but they do really go for it, which is a good thing because it shows no matter if you've got disabilities or anything, rugby league is an inclusive sport, and it's at the moment it's being made into ways where anyone can get involved and anyone can play the game, which is really good. So as a wheelchair coach, you must think how you can broaden the game and get it more known publicly. What inspired you to become a wheelchair rugby league coach?
Well, how I actually started, I used to coach a junior team in the Wrexham area.
Right.
And it was a gentleman called Matt Pritchard who was the lead development officer for North Wales through Wales Rugby League. He was putting a team together. I was invited to go along to just have a look at it. Sat in a chair, I thought, I can play this game myself now because couldn't play the running game anymore because of my illnesses.
Yeah.
Just fell in love with it. Joined the club as a player.
Okay.
Then about 6 months in, I was asked if I fancied helping out with a bit of coaching.
Mm.
So I was assistant coach and then took over from the head coach and never looked back.
And there we go, mate.
With Wales job as well.
Yes, mate. And look where you are now. Like you said, Wales job, head coach at Wheelchair Rugby League. You never look back, mate. But I do want to speak about when you're a player, because like you said, it wasn't for the longest amount of time, but it still was a good stint of playing Wheelchair Rugby League. What's it like transitioning from a Wheelchair Rugby League coach, a wheelchair player, sorry, to a coach, but also before that, you mentioned you played a little bit, not maybe professionally, but a little bit of, running rugby league, so to say. How do those transitions affect you, and how do you adapt to play those games?
It's not that difficult to adapt, really, because
Right.
at the end of the day, you're still playing rugby, so all
Yeah,
your
yeah,
basic ball handling skills and how you read the game and everything are identical. The
Mm.
only thing you've got to work out then is the chair-based skills,
Yeah.
which that's just purely practice and being willing to be knocked out of a chair a few times
Yeah.
and ripping your hands to pieces with blisters.
Indeed,
But
mate.
it's not that big a change. We've got a couple of players with us now at the club and at Wales who play running game as well as the wheelchair version.
Right. Okay.
So, because the beauty with the wheelchair version is it is fully inclusive.
Yeah.
You don't have to have a disability to play.
Ah. Okay.
And it's a great leveler. I've done it myself. My son's a player.
Okay.
We've got, my grandson used to play.
Yeah.
We've got another gentleman plays for us in his 60s, and his grandson also plays.
Right.
And
Okay.
they play on the same team or against each other.
Yeah.
And they
Yeah.
knock 7 bells out of each other sometimes.
Yeah.
Great to
Yeah.
watch.
Yeah.
We've got husband and wives playing together, partners playing together.
Yeah.
As long as when you're in a competition match, that you have 3 disabled to 2 able-bodied
Yeah.
ratio on the court, doesn't make no difference whatsoever.
Right. Okay.
There's a lad now, Jack Brown, plays for England. He's just moved to Australia.
Yeah.
Won the world's best player in 2019. He's not disabled.
Right. Okay.
There's others who were really chomping at his heels for that title who are.
Yeah.
So it
Yeah.
doesn't make a lot of difference.
No, it doesn't, mate. And it's like that just shows that Wheelchair Rugby League and the sport as a whole is just inclusive. Anyone can get involved. Anyone can play. And I was going to ask about that because obviously you've just brung up that you don't have to have a disability to play. So can anyone just come along and say, I want a trial, I want to have a go? How do you get involved with Wheelchair Rugby League?
Go on the RFL or the Wales Rugby League website, find your local club,
Mm-hmm.
look it up on Facebook, Google search, anything.
Right.
Find where it is, contact them. And like with Crusaders, you just turn up, we'll have a quick chat with you,
Yeah.
take you to a sports chair, which we supply, and give you usually if it's first time you've ever sat in a sports chair,
Mm.
I'll put one of the more experienced players with you for half an hour or so
Yeah.
to get
Yeah.
used to how you move about in the chair and how you play the game.
Mm.
And then they just join in.
Yeah.
And the players then have a choice. They can keep coming, just do it for fitness if they want. They can keep coming and playing just the club level, or
Mhm.
the pathway is there, and it's a well-established pathway for Crusaders, especially into international level.
Yeah.
So at
Yeah.
the moment, I think we stand supply in Wales alone with about 15 players through since 2003.
Right.
So we're not doing badly.
No, that's an impressive number, mate. It really is. So it's good to hear that anyone can get involved with the sport because it's what we need in the game. Inclusiveness is everything, and whoever wants to get involved can get involved with Wheelchair Rugby League, which is brilliant. So you did mention before that the contact side is now with tags on your shoulders. I think you said. Wheelchair rugby league is a tough sport. What are the main differences when it comes to the physical demands compared to the standard game? Because obviously, wheelchair players are using their arms quite a bit more because move their wheelchairs around. So how does that differ from the standard rugby league?
Well, you've just said yourself, standard rugby league, you're using your legs, so that's the most prominent muscle using, whereas in our version, it's shoulders and arms. You do need quite a bit of core strength as well. Well, you don't need it, but it helps.
Yeah.
Because you get some players who can throw their chairs around the court without touching the wheels.
Right, okay.
Just by moving their hips. It's an acquired skill. Good chair, good player. Surprising what they can do. But yeah, it's mainly having good upper body, shoulder and arm strength, but it's the technique in pushing the chair as well.
Yeah.
Knowing, like I always tell my players, put your hands at 12 o'clock or 5 to 12 on the wheel, take it down to quarter past, and then bring your hands straight back to the top. But as you're pushing, lean into the push as well.
Yeah.
It gives you a bit more speed. Plus, if you've got a ball sitting on your knee, as you push into it, your body's holding that ball in place.
Yeah. It sounds brilliant, mate.
And try it.
Yeah, I will have to try it, mate. Because it's inclusive, so I can get involved if I want to. That's the beauty of it. So, like you said, I think you said before, there's only 5 players on a team that start now on the field or the hall. What positions are there that compare to standard rugby league? Because obviously there's a fewer amount of players. Do we have fullbacks? Do we have halves? Like, what positions are more common in the wheelchair world?
Well, wheelchair, of course, you've got your centre, and then you've got your 2 wings.
Yeah.
And then the other 2 positions, we class them, and a lot of clubs do, as inside centres.
Right.
Some class them as another. Whatever the terminology, it differs from club to club, coach to coach. But we always say centre, 2 inside centres, 2 wings.
Yeah. Okay. So
wingers usually can shift them chairs to ridiculous speeds.
Yeah, I bet they can, mate. In standard rugby league, to score a try, you run through the sticks or in the in-goal area, put the ball down. How do you score points in tries in wheelchair? Is it the same, or do you just have to move your wheelchair into an area? How does that side of the game work?
Right. Well, there's 2 ways of scoring a try, and it depends purely on the person.
Okay.
Now, we have players which we class as limited movement ones, which have either got some sort of spinal or upper body impairment or an issue with reaching the floor from their wheelchair.
Okay.
But your standard scoring position is you cross the try line in your wheelchair, you've got the ball in your hand, and you tap it onto the floor.
Okay, so similar to normal rugby league then. Yeah.
But if you're a limited movement player, you tap it on the top of your wheel.
Okay.
Now, if you ever watch a game, you'll know straight away the limited movements.
Yeah.
Because they'll have some form of armband on as well as the shirt.
Right.
Usually high-vis colour, or a lot will use like maybe a black duct tape or silver duct tape. It's just so you can notice them. And it's the same with the play the ball.
Right.
A normal wheelchair player taps the floor and passes the ball, whereas a limited movement one taps their wheel and then passes the ball back.
Okay.
So the scoring principle is the same. Get over the line, get the ball on the floor and ground it.
Yeah, definitely, mate.
It's 4 points the same.
Yeah.
And then, like I was saying earlier, you then have your conversion, which is off a kicking tee, which is similar height to your top of your main push wheel.
Yeah.
Ball sits on the top and it's punted over with a closed fist.
Definitely, mate. So that sounds like a good game, and it's been designed in a way where everyone can get involved, depending if they have a disability, if they don't. Like you said, there's different ways you can score a try, depending on if you're not able to reach the floor, like you said, which is brilliant for the game. Because like I've mentioned many times, it gets more people involved, which is absolutely brilliant. So
And
for
that's all we're
sorry, go
trying
on.
to do.
Yeah,
That's all we're trying to do,
indeed.
get bums in seats. And
Yeah, yeah.
this year is a really special one for us
Okay.
because we've got our Rugby League World Cup
Yes, mate.
wheelchair version this year.
Yeah.
And that has actually been classed on the same card this time as the men's and the women's.
Yeah, it
It's
has.
not a separate festival like it has been in the past. We're part of the main tournament.
Yeah.
Players are being paid for taking part, something that's never happened before. It's actually being televised.
Right. Okay.
Never happened in the past.
Yeah.
I know weekend just gone.
Yeah.
The Super League games were on the My League app.
Yeah, they
First
were.
time ever we've been televised, and not the club had to film it themselves and put it out. Later this month, England take on Wales in a one-day international in Sheffield. That's been televised by the BBC.
Oh,
First
that
time,
is brilliant.
first time a major broadcaster has shown serious interest.
Yeah.
And what it's doing for the sport is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah.
This year alone, there's 2 brand new Welsh teams starting. In England, I believe there's something like 5 or 6 new teams just starting up from
Brilliant,
scratch.
mate. Brilliant.
And it's all on the back of the World Cup funding and publicity from the World Cup. So it's great for us in all round.
Yeah, it is brilliant, mate. And it's brilliant step forward for the Wheelchair Rugby League community. And that actually brings me on nicely to the World Cup, which I was about to speak about. So the upcoming World Cup, I think it's the first time Wheelchair Rugby League has been involved with the men's game and the women's team at the same time as one big festival, like you said. What are the teams to look out for in this World Cup, I've got to ask?
Well, you've got to be looking out for France straight away.
Okay.
Unfortunately, they're in the same group as Wales, so we're not looking forward to that. But they are ranked number 1 in. Are they number 1? Yeah, number 1 in the world.
Yeah.
They're the current title holders of the World Cup from 2017.
Yeah.
So they're going to be the main ones. Then, of course, you've got the arch rivals, England. So you've got Wales, France, and England with the top 3 ranked teams in the world at the moment.
Okay.
With Wales coming in 3rd. So in our group, there's going to be us, France, Spain. They were a good team from when we played them before.
Yeah.
USA, fairly new team coming in. Scotland, we played them no end of times, and we're playing them next weekend.
Right.
In the Celtic Cup tournaments. Then you've got other newcomers like Norway. Of course, there's Australia coming over now. They've been in the great position. They've been back training for months.
Right.
Unlike all the teams in this country. And some of the stuff we're seeing coming from Australia with the matches they're playing, they're going to be a good contender this as well.
Yeah.
I think they only have ever lost 1 World Cup final so far in wheelchair. Or rather not attended one. So it's going to be a good game with them as well.
Definitely, mate. There's a few teams to look out for, mate. And it sounds like the game is just growing and growing and growing, which is it's just world class. We've got teams from Spain, France, Australia, America. It's brilliant, mate. It's definitely what the sport needed. But we can't speak about teams to look out for without speaking about top class players to look out for. Is there anyone that you're looking out for? Are you tipping anyone to have a class performance this World Cup?
Well, straight away, your mind's got to go to Jack Brown of England if he's playing.
Okay.
2019 Player of the Year, winner of the Golden Boot Award. First time ever it was done for wheelchair. So he's got to be the one to watch. You got a lad also plays for England, Seb. He's another good lad to watch. Got a couple of great Australians coming over. Wells, one of them. Really great lad, quite humble, but get him on the court and he's a great player.
Yeah.
To be honest, international-wise, you've got to be wary of all of them.
Mm.
If you don't treat them players with respect when you're on the court, they will run rampant around you.
Yeah, yeah.
They'll run through straight over you, straight through you, knock you flying.
Yeah, definitely, mate. That's it. You've got to show respect on the court, because everyone's putting their bodies on the lines in these wheelchairs and giving it their best, which is brilliant.
Yeah.
So you did mention earlier on, you were a Wheelchair Rugby League Coach of the Year, which is brilliant, mate. Congratulations on that. Run us through how getting that award felt and how it gave confidence to you and the team for upcoming seasons.
Well, when I found out I'd even been nominated for it, it was, well, why? I'm not
Yeah.
doing nothing special. I'm looking after my club, the country. I just want to grow the sport. And then, unfortunately, the night of the awards, I wasn't able to go there because I had prior commitments in Cardiff.
Yeah, yeah.
And when I got the message say I'd won it, I was sitting in the bar and I was gobsmacked, which is not normal for me. And I'm thinking, well, why have I got it over others? I'm no more deserving than the coaches from Leeds, Leyland, Scotland, anyway.
Yeah.
Obviously, the powers that be saw something they liked, which I don't know. You don't always see it in yourself, but other people do.
Yeah.
And then when I found out as well, straight after that, we won Club of the Year as well. I think I was more made up with that one.
Yeah.
Because it reflected all the players, what they put into it.
Yeah.
Because like I said after when I was asked about it, I said, yeah, but there's only one reason I got made Club of the Coach of the Year. And that's purely the players I've got.
Yeah.
If it wasn't them, I wouldn't be where I am. So a lot of it is down to the players and the mentality of them and the fact that, yeah, I've got disability, so what? Let's get on with it and show us what we're capable of. Like, so you need your players to be able to get the accolades yourself.
You do, mate. And you mentioned Club of the Year. What was that like? Like you said, brilliant for the club. Club of the Year. It's one of the best achievements a club can get, surely, mate. Run us through that. Sure.
I couldn't believe it when we got it, because we were expecting it to go to the likes of one of the other big Super League teams.
Yeah.
Possibly Leeds or Halifax. And when it was announced we got it, again, I was gobsmacked. But I thought, no, actually, our players deserve that. They turn up week in, week out, put their bodies on the line. But more importantly, they have fun doing it as well. So to win that, and then 2 months later, we actually won the Parasports UK and Association with Toyota, I think it is, Club of the Month Award.
Oh, brilliant.
For April. So that was another great achievement, back to back.
Yeah.
And again, that was purely down to the players, that was.
Indeed, mate. It sounds like everyone at the club, including yourself and the players, just love being a part of the game, which is brilliant, mate. It's good to hear. So you and the wheelchair lads have a few fixtures coming up soon, and ladies, sorry, I must say. How are you preparing for those, and are we expecting a win for the upcoming games?
Right, well, we've got the Championship Trophy and Cup with Betfred this weekend coming.
Okay.
Super League team are involved in that with all the other Super League clubs.
Yeah.
And also mixed championship team we've got is involved in that as well.
Yeah.
And then we're actually off for a couple of weeks then.
Yeah.
Because of internationals, and then the season kicks off again.
Right.
And towards the end of June, I think it is. And all three of our teams are back in action then. So we're looking to turn the results from last weekend around nicely.
Indeed, mate. And I'm rooting for the Crusaders. They're definitely my wheelchair team now, mate. So I'll be looking forward to tuning in, and let's hope for a good few wins for the Crusaders in the upcoming games. So as a coach, you're in charge of the players' well-beings, etc. And with risk assessments and stuff like that, How does it get sorted as being in a wheelchair, playing the sport? Not to take away from any of the players because they're all top class. But for anyone, maybe you can't do as much as you'd like to do. Not involved in wheelchair, but outside of the game as well. So how do we determine if a player may need a rest or is injured when in wheelchair rugby league?
Well, unfortunately, like most versions of rugby, you can't believe a player.
Okay.
They'll tell you they're feeling fine when their arms hanging off.
Yeah.
And that's the same across all.
Yeah.
It's just basically you get to know your players, you know what they're capable of. You can see it in their faces sometimes. They might be flagging a bit, blowing, getting a bit red in the face. It's just getting to know them and knowing what they're capable of so you can see if something's not right. And if you think something's wrong, just pull them off, give them a break, talk to them.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I don't care what version of rugby you're playing, your player welfare has got to be your priority.
Definitely, mate.
And
definitely.
the easiest way to get to know your players, sit down, talk to them.
Yeah, and that's what a coach is all about, isn't it? Yeah.
Make sure they know that there's nothing wrong with them to come off because you're winded or shattered after 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So what? Some of the best players only do 10-minute stints.
Exactly.
And then go back out. So it's just drumming it into them that there's nothing wrong with coming off and having a break.
Indeed, mate.
Unfortunately, we do have the added addition that you have people's medical conditions.
Yeah.
So we're fully aware, or as a coach, I'm fully aware, and the first aid staff are of each person's medical condition and the limitations that may put on them. So we're always constantly watching and monitoring and talking to them to make sure that they're fine and giving them all the rest period they need.
Definitely, mate. And that's what a coach is all about. Like
one
you
of
said,
them chairs is hard graft. Especially
is.
Indoors with no air.
Yeah, definitely, mate. Some wise words there. So as a community, and everyone involved with rugby league, whether it's the men's game, the women's game, the PDRL game, the wheelchair game, the learning disability game, any of the games, we all must come together and support one another, because that's what we are. We're a tight-knit community, and that's what we do. What can the community do to help improve the sport as a whole, not just wheelchair, but as a whole?
Get behind us.
Yes.
If there's a game, go and support it. But support it in the right method. If your kid's playing and he makes a mistake, still cheer him on.
Yeah.
Remember, the referees will get things wrong, so don't go. I know it's easier said than done sometimes. Don't go screaming at the refs, calling them out for it. But let's just support our players, support our match officials, support the clubs. Yeah,
definitely.
A lot of clubs now are only just starting back, and a lot still haven't been allowed fans, so a lot are struggling. So just go along. Right, I'm a fan. What can I do to help?
Get involved. Yeah.
You'll be surprised how many clubs need volunteers still, if only for putting a pair of boots on or a pair of trainers on and running a crate of water across the field. So just offering to help like that, or helping put the pitch together, or putting the kit away at the end. That's all us clubs want half the time. Just somebody to say, "Here, you lot have just done that for us, entertained us for 80 minutes. We'll put these away for you."
Yeah, definitely. Get behind your teams. Yeah, support your clubs. Yeah, that's it, mate. Give your clubs support. If you're a fan, get down if you can watch. If you can watch, go and watch. Just give the clubs a bit of support, because that's what they need. And with those wise words, mate, that is the end of the podcast today. But before we finish off, it's been a pleasure having you. Do you have anything you'd like to say to people in the community who want to get involved with Wheelchair Rugby League but don't really know where to start?
Easiest way, NFL website, or do as I said earlier, an internet search. Find your local club, get in touch with them, and I'll tell you now, they'll be more than happy for you to come along, put your bum in a chair and have a go. I know 2 weeks' time there's one in Cardiff, a new club, Cardiff Blue Dragons. They're doing an open taster. Torvain Tigers in Wales have only just set up. So they're after players. most of the English clubs that have players. So just have a route, find your nearest one,
Yeah,
phone them up, talk to them, or just turn up and have a go. You'll
there we
never
go.
regret it.
Indeed, mate. So get involved if you can, guys. It's a brilliant sport to be around. And with that, we will be finishing the podcast today. It's been an absolute pleasure having you, mate. You've got some brilliant rugby league knowledge, and I'm just glad you could come on and share your story involved with Wheelchair Rugby League. It's been brilliant, mate. Thanks for coming on once again.
My pleasure, Steve. And anything that helps grow the sport, I'm always happy to.
That's it, mate. Thank you, mate.
All right. Cheers, buddy.
Thank you. Thanks again to our podcast partner, Recovery, for sponsoring today's episode. Head over to recovery.com to check out their range of all natural products, and remember to use the code DROPGOAL in all capitals, no space, at checkout for 10% off your order.
Here comes the, here comes the, here comes the. Y'all don't really want it like that. Yeah. Here comes the, no. Here comes the, oh. Here comes the. Y'all